exactly the same method, same way. And sometimes, as you see, sometimes it's good day to do this, it's bad day to do that, and so on, right? So those stuff here, you have to be very careful. Same way, there's no difference. As you know, back in the days, like they said, it's a modern version of fortune telling. It's a modern version of fortune telling. So there's no difference. Same thing. They used to go there to them, and as you know, they used to live back in the caves, and they have their own shops. And back in the days, now electronic, and sometimes I know there's used to be, I don't know if still now, they call on the phone. There's a hotline you call, and they predict what's going to happen for you or something. Just want to have fun. Exactly the same rule as you going to them in person. There's no difference. Because same difference. Same way, all right? And the magic is something popular. It's not something no one have heard of it or something. Have two elements to it. One of them, like I said, real, and one trickery. So they trick people. So they trick people, subhanAllah, in a way. Some make it happen. Some just deceive you, like you think, imagine this happened. As the magician. So, however, some people, they have divided the magic to two parts. One of them, evil magic and good magic. Good and evil, subhanAllah. In Islam, it's all evil. All magic is evil. So they're divided the way they want, but we know the rule. Magic is magic. Magic is huge. This is one of the biggest sins a person can commit, subhanAllah. However, some people, they do not believe the magic unless they feel it, they see it. So, and all she said looks like in your mind, in your head. Just the way, if you believe in it, then it's good. If you don't believe it, this does not exist. There's no such thing. Magic is there. Islam have assured and confirmed there's a magic. There's ayat in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mention the magic. And as you know, of course there's connection between the magic and the jinn. Cannot be done without them. They give you something like a miracle or something, deceive people so they believe there's something real and something happening. So that's why we need to be very careful with this. So as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, when they said this is when Harut and Marut became the angels to teach people magic. When you think about why they're teaching people magic, it's part of the test. Why this brother his son passed away. The father probably 80 and the son way younger. So it's a test. Teaching the magic is a test. Allah sent Harut and Marut as a test to the people, subhanAllah, when they were trying to teach the people, and also to describe the lie was made by the Jews that upon Sulaiman alayhi salam and so on. So, Rasul, one of the famous story, one of the most famous story that Rasul was affected by magic. So it was by the Jewish guy named Labid ibn Asam. So he was the one who affected Rasulullah by magic. Of course, this was when he moved to Medina. As you know, Rasulullah and the Sahaba, they used to go through every little thing to make the deen perfect. One of the wisdom, to make everything happen with them. Everything was covered during the life of Rasulullah. One of them, to be affected by magic. And subhanAllah, as they said, then Allah revealed the last few surah from the Quran, Al-Falaq wa Nas, to be cured. So, and Rasulullah was really suffered from this. He used to forget things. He used to see a thing close and it is far away, and think far away and he thought it's close. Some people it comes to their mind that affects their revelation, the wahy. There's no way. This is protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But to teach us how that could happen and existed and how could it be cured. And no one have guaranteed that he's not going to be tested. Including the prophets, alayhim salam, including the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he was tested with many things besides this. He lost his father, then mother, then grandfather, then uncle, then his son and his daughters. The only one was the main one was his daughter Fatima. He lost everyone. SubhanAllah. So the thing is, this was test after he was kicked out of his land. They tried to kill him and so on. They called him all bad names. This one of the things was a test, and also for us to learn that could happen to any of us. And the thing is, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have sent Jibreel alayhi salam himself to make ruqyah upon Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. To make ruqyah upon the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So he said, Jibreel alayhi salam was reading some ruqyah. And the ruqyah is something huge. We need to understand what ruqyah. First of all, ruqyah is permissible. We need to understand. Ruqyah is a sunnah. We could do it. Second of all, we need to know what ruqyah is. Not anything is ruqyah. So a lot of people claim this is the ruqyah. We could do this or this or that. No. We need to understand this the ruqyah, there's conditions for the ruqyah. For example, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was affected. Jibreel salam said the dua, Bismillah urqiq, Bismillah urqiq min kulli shay'in yu'dik. So I said the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making this ruqyah against everything would harm you. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَمِن شَرِّ كُلِّ نَفْسٍ أَوْ عَيْنِ حَاسِدٍ, and against every soul or envious eye. Hasid, right? Against evil eye or envious soul, Allah yashfiq, Allah will cure you. Bismillah urqiq. So the thing is, he repeated this 3 times, one of the things. Of course, recited Surah Al-Fatiha, the greatest surah, one of the ways to cure the jinn and the sihr. One of the things, recite Surah Al-Fatiha, recite Al-Mu'awwidhat, Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Qul a'udhu bil-falaq, Qul a'udhu bin-nas. There's an authentic way to do it. And some scholars, they have chosen some ayat, because the Quran fihi shifa. The Quran has the cure in the Quran. One of them, they said, this connected with sihr. They said, وَلَا يَفْلِحُ السَّاحِرُ حَيْثُ أَتَى. Sahir, the magician, will never succeed. One of the ayat. And subhanAllah, and then فَغُلِبُوا هُنَالِكَ وَانْقَلَبُوا صَاغِرِينَ. They were defeated and they became like, despicable and so on. So the things, a few ayat in the Quran you could use, but mainly stick to the sunnah of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of them, the Fatiha. The Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when the Sahaba recited the Fatiha upon the person was stung and he was about to die, and recited the Fatiha, the man became cured immediately. So they went back to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he said, Ya Rasulullah, we have done this. He said, how did you know the Fatiha will cure by the will of Allah? How did you know? Allah have guided them to Fatiha will cure by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to connect the 2 things together. The Fatiha will cure by then the Mu'awwidhat and so on. One of the great things I would like advice to every one of you, subhanAllah, to do. Beautiful thing. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned, if you start your day before you eat anything with 7 dates. The hadith from Bayni Labitayha, from the Medina dates, and there's hadith Ajwa, the black date, the little ones. So you're not going to be harmed with poison nor magic. That's one of the things. The highly recommended things, to make sure to come to the masjid as much as you can, to attend and do the morning dhikr. We enter the masjid, evening dhikr after the salah. This is a husn. This is something like fortress, something will protect the shield by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Recite Ayat al-Kursi, I forgot to mention. Ayat al-Kursi will burn the jinn and so on. Those few ayat, inshallah, will help by also the will of Allah and come into the masjid and morning dhikr and evening dhikr. And 7 days, try to be used to it. And Shaykh bin Baz rahimahullah said, any date, if it's not available, as you know, sometimes it's too hard to get the 7 days. As long as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Do as much as you can. Sometimes it's too hard to provide the Medina date. Of course, the authentic Ajwa or the Medina from Medina. The Ajwa is the top, if you can. But Shaykh bin Baz rahimahullah said, 7 dates, if you cannot do the Ajwa or the Medina date, it will do, inshallah. It will do good, inshallah. According to the ayat and the hadith, which is fear Allah or apply the deen as much as you can. So, however, this we need to make sure when there's someone affected, according to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was affected, this is what they had done for him. So you don't want to go to the people who are committing shirk. Because the sahir in general, the magician, he will never reach that level unless he commits a shirk. He's a mushrik first one, remember this. Sahir, the magician, is not going to be as good as he is unless he's a mushrik. He's almost worshipping the shaitan, the jinn. And may commit kufr. So that's why the more a slave you are to the jinn, the better you are. Look at this. With the sihr. The better you are with the sihr. Not as an abid to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The more skilled you are. I don't want to say better. The more skilled you are as a sahir, as a magician. So the more you fulfill being abid to the shaitan, the better, the more skilled with the sihr. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all the spell was broken after reciting the ayat and the dua from Jibreel alayhi salam. So then the sihr, no doubt, is something true, reality, no doubt. It's not something, a state of mind, something we think of, imagine. And like I said, some people said, if you believe in it, then happen. If you don't believe it's not going to happen. No, it's real. Allah had mentioned this in the Quran. Prophet ﷺ mentioned that in the Hadith. It's not imagination. And subhanAllah, the sihr throughout the history is mentioned. Even nowadays, they go to haunted houses and all stuff, and the ghosts, how they affect you. This is a heritage. Throughout the history, they believe in this. It's happened, sihr is there. Because the shaitan always has been there since day one. So this is one of the things, and so on. And like we said, this is the Quran. When Musa alayhi salam have debate or challenged the magician that during Pharaoh's, right? What happened? He threw his staff, his stick. They threw it. They said, they said, you threw your staff or we do it? He said, you do it first. So they did it. They did something great. Magic in one narration. Something huge. Because they were the most skilled thing at that time for Musa alayhi salam. So, but they know, the magician, they know this is nothing. They could deceive you and me. But they know the truth. They know this is nothing. It's still there. Sticks, ropes, nothing. But when they saw Musa's snake consumed everything. Right? They know this is not real. What did they do immediately? They prostrate, they made sujood. Said, Amanna bi Rabbi Harun wa Musa. So immediately they believed in the Rabb of Musa and Harun. So they believed immediately because they know this is not something like the tricky thing they do. This is a real thing. It's way above what they're doing. Just one thing. They were defeated and they became in and they died as shuhada. Immediately from the worst people to one of the best people. Pharaoh said, you believe in him without my permission? Subhanallah. Immediately said, oh, who are you? Amanna bi Rabbil Alamin. We believe in the Lord for the world. Amanna billah. We believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. He said, I will chop your heads, I will cut your right hand from the left leg, and so it doesn't matter. Do whatever you want. They didn't care. Immediately, instantly, from kuffar, mushrikeen, one of the worst people. As you know, the rules for the Sahara, of course, not applying here. In the Torah, in the Bible, the Old Testament, and the tradition of the Khulafa, and so on, to be executed. But of course, like we said before, not our job. We didn't do this. We didn't apply here. So you want to get out of the topic. However, so those people are because they commit one of the worst things. They competed with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They bring people back to life, and they chop their necks and put it back on again. And one of the early generation of Islam, he saw a guy doing that. He moved the hand, put it back on. He moved the guy's neck, put it back on. The head, put it back on. He said he got his sword. He chopped his neck off. He said, okay, bring your head off. So he was there. So the thing is, they know this is tricky. Like I said, they can deceive us, but they cannot deceive the righteous and the right people, subhanAllah. So the magician during Musa alayhi salam, they saw this in their own eyes, and they believe in this is the real stuff. So sihr exists. And some people, subhanAllah, they use this to make more fans from Muslims. They use, like, for example, subhanAllah, what they call it. They do things like supernatural, like in miracles and so on. There's some karama, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives little miracles for the righteous people. They still exist. Things happen with some people, subhanAllah, they see the protection of Allah. They see the miracles of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Till this day, this happened. But some people use this with the jinn as a miracle to get more followers, and some Muslims do that, as Imam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah said, there's a book he had made, said Al-Furqan Bayna Awliya Ar-Rahman wa Awliya Al-Shaytan. Basically, this book about is how to distinguish, or the distinction between the awliya, the Allahs of Allah, the Rahman, and the Allahs of the Shaitan. So he can tell you exactly how those people, they use the karama, or they act like a karama by dealing with the jinn, and how the people who had the real karama, which is the barakah and the blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they get something above what a person could do. You can see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have made a special thing for that person. And basically this is, subhanAllah, how this book, how to distinguish between what the sihr and the magician and the magic made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the righteous people. We have said also everything in the sihr have like a variety or different form of sihr, magic. So many different varieties, subhanAllah. But all of them, from Islamic perspective, we said this is something shirk and haram and has to do with the jinn. Has to do with the jinn. And you see, subhanAllah, it's you see those people, even the one who dealing with magic, if you pay attention to them real, see they are possessed. If you saw a possessed person, which is having seen this many times, you see like they are possessed themselves. Because they are slave to the shaitan, the way they act, they do things that, subhanAllah, see like there's something weird. Pay attention to them. If you have to happen, watch something on YouTube or something. I don't recommend that to anyone, but if you do, just they are possessed by the jinn, subhanAllah. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was traveling one time, and the hadith said Minhaj ibn Amr ibn Ya'la radiyallahu anhu وارضاه مرة, said the woman came and asked him that her son was possessed by the jinn. And subhanAllah, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said one thing, said اخرج عدو الله أنا رسول الله. Come out or get out, the enemy of Allah, I'm Rasulullah, I'm the messenger of Allah. Nothing else. You see some people that said that we need to make sure if this happened, may Allah protect us all, make sure to go to a person, two things you need to do. If you hear something, this is now became like a trend. Everyone said, I think I have jinn, I think I have sihr, I have this. You get so many phone calls with this stuff. The first thing, okay, you didn't know what it is. Even if it happened, even if this happened, make sure that remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is able to remove it. Allah said in the Quran, the tricks of the shaitan is weak. Okay, the tricks of the shaitan are weak. Kayd shaitan da'if. All the tricks are nothing, meaningless. You have to have faith in Allah that you can remove it. You do want to become weak, be strong. Reciting Ayat al-Kursi will burn the shaitan. Definitely. You want to go to someone, make sure it doesn't go above these things. Do not, when you see a person talking to the jinn, that means he's one of them. Because they get different voice. When you talk to a person, you see like when he's possessed, he speaks totally different dialect, different language. You can tell right away he's not that person. Sometimes a woman in front of you and a man's the one who's talking. Okay, now the moment you see that sheikh or the one who's so-called sheikh talking to that guy, to the jinn, that means he's not the right one. You don't talk to him. Because you talk to him, what are you having fun? Okay.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
So basically, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam mentioned all what he did. Said, "Ukhrij aduwallah, Rasulullah." Or the ayat we have mentioned as Jibreel alayhi salam. You could do this with the ayat, and nothing else. You cannot communicate with the jinn. The moment you see the shaykh communicating with the jinn, this is not the right method. You see there's something wrong. And the worst part, one of the worst part, when you see someone beating the person as he beating the jinn. Some they slap him, they smack him, they get a stick and so on. They think they are beating the jinn, and end up the guy in the hospital. That's what it is. Then they're not going to harm the jinn at all. And he says, "Oh, don't hurt me. Make himself like he's the one who's hurt. He's not going to get hurt." And the worst thing to think about, as he came in, he come out. If you're going to be able to hurt him, he come out as he came in during the time when you beat him the guy. Definitely, this is not the way to make sure the sunnah, nothing beside the few hadith and the few ayat and surahs from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to make sure. And the most important thing, have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's Allah able to cure you. Allah is able to cure you against this thing, and Allah will protect you and reconcile with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's I'm missing something. There's something I'm missing and not doing, which is the salah on time, making the dhikr, the proper dhikr, when I go into the house, when I leave the house, when I enter the bathroom, when I sleep, when I wake up. All this stuff has to be learned and memorized. And I guarantee you, by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doing it on a daily basis, by a week or two, you memorize all of them. There's a lot of apps. Inshallah, Allah protect you. And remember, Allah is the protector, not the dhikr. But Allah gave you the tools to do that. And no one prevented. There's no one had the immunity that's not going to get affected. Anyone could be affected unless you have the dhikr. Unless Allah protects you basically. With the dua and maintaining your salah and all the stuff in the Quran, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, you're not going to be harmed. And always have confidence and faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. هذا والله أعلم. Right, a couple of questions if you have. Okay.